Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Mid-Morning. The investigation into the mid-air crash between a passenger airliner and an Army helicopter Wednesday night has been dominating headlines, and we're also learning through multiple sources to WCBI that one of the pilots on board that helicopter is from Noxubee County. CBS's senior transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve has been looking into how it could have happened even with high-tech safety measures in place.
The layers of aviation safety around an airport like Washington Reagan are numerous. You have air traffic controllers, and we know they were engaged here talking to the aircraft involved. You would also typically have something called TCAS, a collision avoidance system on board the airliner. However, below about 1,000 feet, that system doesn't alarm. Based on the way the aircraft appear to have lined up, it's likely the pilots of the airliner never saw that helicopter coming. A plane is not like your car. You can't look out the side view or rear view mirror. You can't look over your shoulder and see behind you. You have a limited field of view in that, you've got the windows, you can sort of see left and you can sort of see right, but you can't see necessarily behind you. And just a few hundred feet above the ground, those pilots' focus would be on the runway ahead of them and getting the airplane down safely. We don't know a lot about what was going on board that military helicopter. We don't know what those pilots saw or what they were looking at. It is busy airspace. It was at night, so while there was clear visibility, you are looking at basically flashing lights in the dark. And this is an arrival pattern, so there are other airplanes behind the one that they ultimately collided with. These accidents are a bit like a chain link. Several events come together in order for this accident to happen. If any one of them doesn't occur, the accident doesn't occur. The NTSB will investigate, answers will come. That will take time. For now, certainly one of the things investigators are going to look to understand is why was the helicopter operating where it was? Was it within the normal flight rules around Reagan National Airport, which is 200 feet or below for helicopter traffic? And how just did these two aircraft come together like they did remains the obvious question at this hour. Answers could take a year or more before a final NTSB report is prepared. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Phoenix.
Governor Tate Reeves delivered his 2025 State of the State address Wednesday night. He's highlighting the state's accomplishments while laying out a plan for what he'd see moving forward. Courtney Ann Jackson has a recap of the speech.
The state of our state marks 2024 on so many levels as the most successful in Mississippi history.
Governor Tate Reeves spent the first 15 minutes of his State of the State address touting the state's economic development wins.
We know our people want to stay here, and other people would love the community they'd find here. But to make that possible, Mississippi must be the best state to build and grow a business.
With a look ahead, he's making a repeat request to the legislature.
The single best thing we can do for our state and her people is to eliminate our state's income tax. This money does not belong to the government. It belongs to the hard-working Mississippians who earn it.
An unexpected focus of the speech was on energy, asking policymakers to start an effort he's calling Mississippi's power play.
When we make power here, we create high-paying, stable jobs. This is how Mississippi rises. It will take all forms of energy in every corner of our economy.
Although the governor didn't use the phrase Medicaid expansion, he discussed the changes that could happen with the program at the federal level and reinforced his opposition.
Now is not the time to expand welfare in our state. It's actually the worst possible time to do it.
On the topic of education,
for so long, our teachers and our kids have been told they are last, they are 50th, they are at the bottom. Y'all, it's just not true.
He bragged on the gains and improved test scores and made this request.
Best prepare our students for adulthood, we must hold school districts accountable. And that's why I propose revising the accountability system to place a greater weight on proficiency and less weight on growth in academic achievements.
Reese calls 2024 the greatest year in the state's history and says he expects more successes in 2025.
The single largest payroll commitment in state history.
Buckling up when getting in a car is something many of us do without even thinking about it, but it wasn't always so. 40 years ago, a landmark law helped change the culture around seatbelts and dramatically improved road safety. Bradley Blackburn has more.
At the Vintage Automobile Museum of New Jersey, these cars have one thing in common.
Nothing to buckle, no safety measures.
None at all.
As founder John Mahoney explained, all these autos, from the 1939 Cadillac LaSalle to the Packard Single Six to the Ford Model T, were built before seatbelts were standard safety features.
Was safety even a concern?
No, I don't think safety was a concern because cars didn't go very fast anyway.
Starting in the 1960s, car makers were required by law to install seatbelts, but even then, many people didn't use them.
People thought that it'd be safer to be ejected from a car.
I think you should wear a seatbelt.
I do too.
I don't like it.
In January 1985, New York became the first state to require drivers and front seat passengers to use them or face a $50 fine.
Buckle up or else.
A highway survey found use went from 16% to 63% in months.
We've saved over 450,000 lives as a result of seatbelt technology.
David Harkey with the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety says today more than 90% of people nationwide wear seatbelts, but that means millions still do not.
When you look at the fatality numbers, what we find is almost half of the occupants who are killed in passenger vehicle crashes are not wearing that seatbelt.
Just look at the difference for a test dummy wearing a belt compared to one who's not.
Seatbelts are still the most important safety feature we have in a vehicle.
It's been a long road to get everyone to buckle up and save lives. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, Point Pleasant, New Jersey.
Seatbelt technology continues to improve. Safety advocates say automakers are installing better belts in the backseat that can reduce the chance of injuries in a crash. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The effects of caffeine on children and teens is still not fully known, but research has suggested many negative health impacts, including sleep problems, heart issues, and increased anxiety. And now health experts from several leading organizations are coming together, urging parents to keep children away from caffeinated beverages. Mandy Gaither has more on new guidelines on what children and teens should and should not drink.
The idea is nothing new. Concern over caffeine and added sugars in drinks has been around for a while, but some of the top health organizations have released new guidelines aimed at helping children and teens be healthier.
The reality is there's a lot of items, a lot of beverages out there, like a lot of things, are promoted as healthy, and there's no evidence that they are.
Dr. Stephen Cook with Nationwide Children's Hospital says the hope is that with these well-known organizations joining together to greenlight new beverage recommendations, it'll make it less confusing and therefore easier for parents to know what to allow and what to avoid.
What are the healthier options? And understanding how we're kind of almost being manipulated to indulge in things that really aren't healthy for us at all.
The guidelines say those ages 5 through 18 should drink plain water and plain pasteurized milk daily, the amount of which depends on factors like age, size, and physical activity. They should avoid drinks with caffeine and other stimulants, sugared beverages, and those with non-sugar sweeteners as well. The experts say to also limit 100% juice, plant-based milk alternatives, unless there's a specific medical reason to drink it, and flavored milk.
We don't want to create a restrictive type of response that's like, you never can have this. It's a once in a while type of opportunity. And once in a while isn't one a day per se. Maybe it's once a week or once every other week.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, the total amount of fluids a child should drink varies. On average, the new healthy eating research guidelines say children 5 to 8 should drink about 40 fluid ounces per day. 9 to 13-year-olds need about 61 fluid ounces a day. And those ages 14 to 18 should consume around 88 fluid ounces a day. Well, teens in the U.S. admit to being increasingly misled by fake online content. This comes from a new study by Common Sense Media, a nonprofit advocacy group. 1,000 teens were asked about their experiences with media made by generative AI tools. About 35% reported being deceived by fake online content. More than 40% reported they had encountered content that was real yet misleading, and 20% shared information that turned out to be fake. Nearly half of the teens said they don't trust big tech, including Google, Meta, TikTok, Apple, and Microsoft, to make responsible decisions about how they use AI. As the new year begins, many people are searching for ways to improve their mental and physical well-being. Nicole Nielsen introduces us to a Texas woman who says the key to a better life came from an unexpected source: weightlifting.
Life can oftentimes feel heavy, but Alexis Andrews uses weights to help her lighten the mental load.
It's always hard at the beginning.
It might seem contradictory, but 3 years ago, she walked into the gym for the first time, looking for a way to decompress. But what she discovered was so much more than a workout routine. Weight training, she says, became a transformative practice, not just for her body, but for her mind.
I used to have anxiety and depression, and really working out just helped me focus on myself.
The routine was simple at first, but quickly grew into a daily habit that taught her discipline, patience, and the power of showing up for yourself. It transformed her mindset. She feels her best and can show up even better in other areas of her life. The benefit, all beyond that half hour each day.
But working out, I just go in how I feel. And I always come out better. Always. Every time.
She admits it's not always easy. In fact, just getting to the gym each day sometimes is the hardest part. For Alexis, the journey to the gym has helped her build a stronger, happier life.
Even if you hate it, even if you don't feel like it that day, just go to the gym. Even if you don't know what you're doing, going on the treadmill for like 30 minutes to an hour just walking will just be like, you'll just feel so much better.
Nicole Nielsen, CBS News, Texas.
All right, well, research shows strength training can also have benefits such as maintaining muscle and mobility. North Mississippi Medical Center West Point is expanding low-cost heart screenings in the Golden Triangle. The hospital is looking for ways to help identify the risk for heart disease and providing surrounding communities access to resources available to them. As February is recognized as National Heart Month, NMMC West Point will offer discounted screenings. Next month, the screening includes a calcium score examination, EKG, and lipid profile. For more information, you can visit their website there at the bottom of the screen. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. UPS says it has an agreement with Amazon to cut back its shipping with the online retail giant by more than 50% by the second half of 2026. The CEO for the Atlanta-based shipping and receiving says Amazon is the company's largest customer, but it's not the most profitable. UPS said its 2024 revenue came in at $9.1 billion. Business with Amazon made up almost 12% of that total. Amazon initially asked to ship more through the UPS, but an Amazon spokesperson reassuring customers, writing in an email statement, quote, "We'll continue to partner with them and many other carriers to serve our customers. Demand for UPS core package operations has fallen from a pandemic era peak. Some customers' habits are changing as they trade down from premium to economy services, cutting in to the company's earnings." Energy company GE Vernova is investing $600 million into manufacturing in the U.S. Fox Business correspondent Ashley Webster reports on what the investment will mean for the energy industry and the job market.
We're inside GE Vernova's manufacturing plant that make these giant gas-powered turbines. Each one of these turbines, by the way, could provide enough power for 500,000 US homes, and they are in very hot demand. In fact, in 2023, they sold 8 of them. Last year, they sold 25. This year, the orders are full going into next year. And the new money that's being invested will not only create more job openings, but also create more turbines.
We'll spend almost $600 million over the next 2 years investing in our U.S. manufacturing. That's going to add over 1,500 jobs in the U.S. And this is all about the fact that we've gone through multiple decades without a ton of load growth or electricity demand growth in the U.S., and that's over. The reality is, for U.S. competitiveness, for the reindustrialization of U.S. manufacturing, for data center and U.S. competitiveness in the world, we're going to need a lot more electricity.
As the demand for power grows within the United States, natural gas is going to be a key player. So much so that the new administration is very happy with what's happening here in South Carolina.
We're motivated to serve this administration. When we see this administration talk a lot about U.S. competitiveness, U.S. jobs, using energy, not just for the U.S., but for U.S. influence in the world, we're very motivated to serve the administration. That's exactly what we're going to do.
The one thing that America has a lot of is natural gas, which will help America become energy independent, which is music to the ears of the current administration. In Greenville, South Carolina, I'm Ashley Webster for the Fox Business Network.
First-time filings for unemployment benefits fell by 16,000 claims last week. The level of jobless claims remains low, indicating there's some stability in the labor market. Economists have attributed the pullback in job growth largely to employers holding back on hiring rather than doing mass layoffs. But that means it is taking longer for the unemployed to find work. Continuing claims, which are filed by people who have received jobless benefits for at least a week, have been hovering around 3-year highs. The Federal Reserve says the labor market remains solid. Chili's is pulling off one of the biggest turnarounds in recent restaurant history. Chili's restaurants open for at least a year increased sales more than 30% last quarter, is the company's third straight quarter of double-digit sales growth. Chili's success has been fueled by its fast food like deals and $6 margaritas, who doesn't love that, as well as viral TikTok videos which have drawn younger customers to its doors. Chili's reported foot traffic increased 20% last quarter. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. A Louisville, Kentucky police officer and an anonymous woman are being called heroes after they prevented a man from jumping off a bridge, and the rescue was caught on video. Madison Elliott has the story.
Video from police shows an officer pulling up to a scene here on the Clark Memorial Bridge. You can see a man trying to climb over the railing and a woman trying to stop him. That's when the police officer pulls up and gets out to help.
A dramatic rescue captured on video.
Hey, no, it's okay, it's okay. Hey.
Allen PD Detective Kyle Willis and a woman saved a man's life.
Someone help me now!
The woman first spotted the man on Sunday while out for her daily run. Before police arrived, she had already stopped him once from jumping. Here, you can see he's walking away from her. That's when Detective Willis gets out as the man tries to jump again. He grabs him.
I'm holding him with all I can, and at that point my hands are completely tied.
He can't reach his radio, where there's an orange distress button. That notifies more officers to respond.
Reach on my radio right here, press the button. Press the button right there. This, right here, press the orange button.
The woman pressed the button, and almost immediately, other officers show up. The man was taken to the hospital. It's a moment Willis says no amount of training can prepare you for.
But I knew that whatever I have going on in my life, regardless of that, I wanted to help him for what's going on in his.
Allen PD has dubbed the woman who helped an angel on the bridge.
She could have jogged past him and kept going. She didn't just jog past him. She said, "What's on your heart?" She stopped and said to him, "What's on your heart?" And he told her.
LMPD says the woman is choosing to stay anonymous. Meanwhile, Willis says he talked with the man while he was in the hospital.
What I did tell him was he's supposed to be here, without a doubt.
He says the man shook his hand and Willis gave him a hug.
That meant everything to me in that moment.
It's an event Willis himself is still trying to process, but says this is what officers do every day.
We're out here trying to protect the community and trying to help others every day.
Madison Elliott, WLKY News.
An amateur fossil hunter has uncovered a disgusting yet amazing find on a beach in Denmark, a piece of animal vomit dating back 66 million years ago. That would be the kind of fossil I'd find. A local museum says the man noticed a strange cluster of lily pieces in a piece of chalk. He brought the fossil to the museum where it was cleaned and examined by a lily expert. The expert believes the cluster contains at least 2 species of lily and a round lump. That lump is likely the indigestible parts of lilies that were regurgitated by an animal that ate the plants. The museum curator says it was likely a fish that vomited up parts of the lilies. The curator says the discovery provides important new knowledge about the relationship between predators and prey and the food chains of the seas. The fossil will be on display at the museum. And speaking of animals, the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries and Parks invites students across the Magnolia State to get outdoors and participate in the 2025 Bob Tyler Fish Hatchery Youth Art Contest. Each student must submit a portfolio, including an entry form and artwork, to the Visitor Education Center by May 10th. Winners in 4 age categories will have their work published in the Mississippi Outdoors magazine, as well as various gift cards. For more information on entry forms and rules, you can visit MDWFP's website. We'll be right back. All right, thanks so much for joining us on Mid Morning. We hope you have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow.